Councilmember Watson, will you please read Proclamation 0866?
Yes, Council President Sandoval. Proclamation number 260866, supporting the Front Range Passenger Rail District's proposed special event stations and the development of passenger rail service along the Front Range. Whereas the Front Range Passenger Rail District, FRPR District, was established as a corporate and political subdivision of the state of Colorado to research, develop, construct, operate, and maintain an interconnected passenger rail system along the Front Range extended from Wyoming to New Mexico. And whereas the development of Colorado Connector, or COCO, represents a significant regional investment in multimodal transportation infrastructure designed to serve current and future generations of Coloradoans. And whereas COCO is intended to connect residents and visitors to employment centers, housing opportunities, colleges and universities, medical facilities, and entertainment destinations throughout the Front Range. And whereas Colorado's Front Range population is protected or projected to approach 8 million residents in the coming decades, increasing demand on existing transportation systems and exacerbating congestion along Interstate 25, one of the state's most heavily traveled and consistently congested corridors. And whereas passenger rail offers a reliable, efficient, and sustainable transportation alternative that can reduce vehicle miles traveled, alleviate road congestion, and contribute to improved air quality and environmental outcomes. And whereas the Colorado Department of Transportation, the FRPR District, and the Class I or Class 1 freight railroads spent the last 4 years extensively studying the operational feasibility of utilizing existing rail structure, enabling near-term passenger service while maximizing the use of existing assets. And whereas, pending voter approval, initial passenger rail service that is anticipated to begin as early as 2029 will expand frequencies and coverage, providing a timely response to growing transportation needs. And whereas the FRPR District has conducted public outreach through town hall meetings, city council presentations, and social media engagement, providing community with meaningful opportunities to ask questions, offer input, and engage with FRPR District Board departments and staff. And whereas Denver Union Station will serve as the hub of the future COCO rail network and is expected to benefit from the highest volume of total boardings on the system. And whereas the inclusion of 2 special event COCO stations in Denver, conditional on final approval from the Class 1 host railroad partners, has the potential to enhance transportation options, increase community vibrancy, support economic development, advance the creation of transit-oriented development, and generate increased activity in the hospitality, retail, and service sectors. And whereas the FRPR District has committed to provide annual payments to the City and County of Denver after a ballot measure passes for a period of 25 years through the FRPR District Local Return Program, to support the planning, design, construction, operation, and maintenance of passenger rail station facilities and station area improvements, including multimodal access, first and last mile connectivity, transit connections, transit-oriented development activities, and other investments that enhance access, connectivity, and functionality associated with the COCO stations areas in Denver. So now therefore be it proclaimed by the Denver City Council, Section 1, that the Denver City Council recognizes that the Front Range Passenger Rail District goals align with Denver's comprehensive 2040 plan, Blueprint Denver, and other local priorities. And Section 2, that the clerk and recorder of the City and County of Denver shall affix a seal of the City and County of Denver to this proclamation, and that a copy be transmitted to the Front Range Passenger Rail District.
Thank you. Sorry, I lost my place in the script. Thank you, Councilmember Watson. Your motion to adopt?
I move that Proclamation 260866 be adopted.
It has been moved and seconded. Comments by members of council. Councilmember Watson.
Thank you so much, Council President. I am honored to put forward this proclamation, and I ask for my colleagues to support this. The Front Range Rail District is essential if we as a city are looking at ways of reducing our carbon footprint, increasing reliability on multimodal options outside of driving, and reducing the amount of traffic on I-25. This provides an opportunity between Pueblo and Fort Collins, including Denver as a main hub, to ensure that we can increase people's use of front range rail, as well as reducing the trips that folks take, individual car trips up throughout this corridor. This is an innovative process that utilizes current rail. The infrastructure bill will be much less than some of the other train options that have been provided, and we have a whole host of folks that have been going across this corridor, meeting and speaking with community members to receive input and incorporating those feedback within this process. So as a city council member, as a train lover, and as someone that appreciates the opportunity to provide greater accessibility to folks across Denver and across the region, I encourage my colleagues to support. With the passage of this proclamation and a possible adding of trail stops outside of Union Station to 2 of our soon-to-be built stadiums, we will also reduce the number of folks driving to and from those stadiums if this passes. So thank you so much, Council President, and I ask my council colleagues to support this proclamation.
Thank you, Councilmember Watson. Councilmember Alvidrez.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Councilman Watson, for bringing this forward. Very excited about the potentiality of having the Front Range passenger rail, as it would really impact District 7, as well as the 2 potential stops would really have an impact. Especially, I appreciate your comments around air quality, while we're suffering so deeply from our air quality right now as well. I am very excited to support this tonight, and my long-term concern is just the local return dollars and how we're using those to these affected areas the most. So thank you. Thank you so much, Council President.
Thank you, Councilmember Hines.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Councilmember Watson, for bringing this forward. I mentioned this in committee. I'll mention it again. Denver has a fabulous opportunity to capture tourism dollars from all up and down the Front Range in yet another way that maybe someone might not want to drive or might be afraid of trying to find parking anywhere near Union Station, which happens to be in Denver's Perfect 10. And so I see this as an opportunity. If they're going to stop anywhere along the Front Range, they're going to stop at Union Station because it already has a rich workforce there. It also has a rich area for tourism, and so you could take the train down from Fort Collins, spend the night, and not have to rent a car at all. And wouldn't that be great for a weekend getaway, or be great for people who want to live a little bit further from the center city, but still get that job downtown for that dream employer that happens to be located in Denver, because that's the downtown Denver, because that's the most logical place for them to locate, in part because of all the mass transit and other non-car options like Front Range passenger rail. So I see this as an easy win for the people of Denver, and I want to thank the honorables who are on the front row, who are part of the board and the leadership team, and helping us honorables learn more about it, and so I'm excited to support it. Thank you again, Councilmember Watson. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Seeing no other speakers in the queue, Mr. Secretary, roll call.
Council members Parity, Romero Kimball,
Aye.
Alvidrez,
Aye.
Gilmore, Gonzalez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Cashman,
Aye.
Sawyer,
Aye.
Torres, Watson,
Aye.
Madam President.
Aye. Mr. Secretary, close the voting and announce the results.
7 ayes.
7 ayes. Proclamation 0866 has been adopted. We now have 5 minutes for the proclamation acceptance. Councilmember Watson, Who would you like to invite up to accept the proclamation this evening?
Thank you, Council President. Before I invite Sal Pace up, I want to acknowledge the honorables. Honorable Council Member Elbra Wedgeworth. Councilwoman, please, if you don't mind, waving so folks know who you are. She's my hero and my mentor for many decades. And Honorable Chris Nevitt, Council Member from District 7, and he's the Vice Chair of Front Range Passenger Rail. Thank you both for being here and your leadership in this process. And with that, I'll ask if Sal Pace, General Manager, Front Range Passenger Rail, if you don't mind coming up to the podium and sharing a few words.
Good evening, Council, and I'm joined by Chris Nevitt, our Vice Chair, and he actually represents Dr. Cog on our board, and a former member of this astute body. It is a honor to have this proclamation, and it means a lot. We've been going up and down the Front Range, and we have now had 11 communities pass similar proclamations. I think the reasons for Front Range Rail are somewhat intuitive. We talked about whether or not you are going to use the train yourself. You're going to see benefit when additional cars are off the road and your air is cleaner. But beyond that, in Colorado, we're taking a uniquely Colorado approach to delivering service, and that means service faster and more affordably than you've seen in other states, because we are leasing the right-of-ways and the tracks from the existing freight railroads. In fact, we already have a signed term sheet with the BNSF Railway, which is a real novel approach that other states have not done, with a direct service contract with the freight railways, as opposed to trying to assert our authority under the Surface Transportation Act to utilize freight tracks. This means a more collaborative approach. It also means a more deliberative approach that's better for all of our constituents. I want to also point out that with this resolution, this qualifies Denver for an additional 10% in our local return for the community. The local return dollars are dollars that the Front Range Passenger Rail District will be sending back to local municipalities for operating their station areas, but also supporting TODs, multimodal development, walkability, bikeability around stations. And for the city of Denver, we're talking about an additional $22.5 million on top of $225 million that we'll be sending back to the city of Denver because of this proclamation. And that's separate from a recommendation I'll be making to our district board at the end of the month for some specific dollars to support walkability and transit around South Broadway and the Burnham Yard site, separate from the local return. So this proclamation isn't only good for showing the city support, it actually means some hard dollars in our policy as well. So thank you for passing this. I also want to acknowledge our team, a host of folks who have come to support us at lots of events, and Elbra and Grant and Kendra and Seneca, Anakin, and several other supporters who are here in the audience. So, what's your name? Garrett? Carrick as well. So thank you all the supporters who have come to show support at our events. And thank you all, Denver City Council. It means a lot.
Thank you.
And our vice chair says he does not want to say anything. So
Okay, thank you all.